All right, Howard Simon joining us from Florida. He's getting ready to fly back to Western New York. His flight was delayed, so that's why we're able to do this. So, Howard, what the heck is going on? Why did this happen?
All right, the first thing I'm doing is I'm never looking at a text from anyone from Channel 7 ever again. The last time I got a text from Trey White was cut, Mitch Morris was cut, I don't know, whoever else was cut that day. I get a text from your boss, Aaron Mason, and it says, "Holy bleep, what's happening?" So I'm like, I got to go on Twitter and find out what the heck the Bills did. Matt, I'm stunned. I'm stunned. I guess I would tell you I'm not stunned that he could have been traded at some point. I didn't think it would happen if it ever did until next season for cap and for other reasons. I'm shocked that this happened right now.
Doesn't this just mean, at least this is my kind of vantage point, this is my, I guess, the way I'm reading it, doesn't this just mean that they wanted to do anything they could to get rid of him? Because that's the way the deal looks to me. It was just like, right, we need to move on, and we need to do it now. Right.
It looks that way because they had created cap space already, right, for this year. I think they had room for their draft picks. Honestly, the big caps, they'll have dead cap space with Diggs now, right? I think they lose $4 million in space by trading him right now. So it doesn't help the cap right away. It helps the cap next year. It gives them less cash to spend on his salary this year. They do get an extra second-round pick, but that's next year, Matt. So I thought, again, if it came to trading Diggs, whether it's he was hurting the room or his contract was a problem, production was going to drop off, and it wasn't worth what he was getting, I just thought, from a business standpoint, it made sense to get one more year out of him. See what, still try and be a Super Bowl contender with your best receiver on the roster, and then do this next year. That's the part I just don't understand. You look at the receiving group, Matt, which I'm guessing is one of your questions. It's not an impressive group right now.
It's incredible that they went from Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis to now no Stefon Diggs and no Gabe Davis. Now, I agree with pretty much everything you said, but for the sake of being devil's advocate here, isn't that old mantra from Bill Belichick, it's better to move on from a player a year early than a year late? That's what I've kept thinking about for the last hour since they've made the move. Maybe they knew that the production was about to slip, and they wanted to do it now before they couldn't get anything for him. I know it's only a second-round pick, but before they couldn't get anything for him.
Right. Okay, yeah, so let's play the flip side of this. And if you're a Bills fan, and there are people who are very happy with this move, just looking at the responses I'm getting on social media, I think you would look at it for a couple of reasons. One, you would look back. I mean, Diggs' numbers fell off like it was like jumping off a cliff down into the water the second half of the season. He was great the first half, and it was the exact opposite the second half. So you might look at it and go, okay, was that the beginning of the drop-off for Stefon Diggs? Get out now while he's got more value to him. The other side of the equation is, from a business standpoint, that was going to be a pain-in-the-butt contract. It already was, and it was going to get worse. Now you're gone with that. It's been pointed out on Twitter, when the Vikings traded Stefon Diggs, what did they do, Matt? They drafted Justin Jefferson, who's a very good receiver, making a lot less money on his initial contract. So, I think it could be, you would look at it and say, maybe he's been an issue in the room, so that would be gone. Bad contract, gone. And if they don't take a wide receiver in round one, I might just stop doing this altogether for the rest of my life.
But is that enough? If they draft a wide receiver at 28, now I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think that there's another move that's going to come down the line. But if they just draft a guy at 28 and say, okay, that's what we're doing, that's not enough, right?
No, because your receiving core now is Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and whatever. So, I mean, after I got over the initial shock, cleared all the curse words out of my mouth, one of the first thoughts I had was Brandon Beane must be working on another trade for a veteran receiver, right? He's got to get – this can't just be Diggs goes out, we already have Samuel, but remember, Davis left. It can't just be we're drafting a receiver. Unless they do like they did with Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham and go receiver in round one, receiver in round two, you got to think, Matt, he's working on a trade, maybe not of a Diggs level, but another good receiver in the NFL to bring in here right away.
Yeah, the names that everybody are immediately going to go to are Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco because his name has been rumored. Justin Jefferson, I don't see that one happening, but wouldn't it be incredible if they went from Stefon Diggs to Justin Jefferson? I just don't think that's going to happen. The thing that this tells me, and maybe I'm just delusional, I think that they're going to trade a haul and move up and try and get one of those top guys. I think that they're going to take a first. They're going to take next year's first. Now you've got another second-round pick next year. I think that you put that all together and you try and get one of those top 3 guys. I know it's a lot, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea either.
Yeah, you're going Atlanta Falcons route, right?
Yeah, the Julio Jones route.
20-something spots to get Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Look, I'm desperate, so I don't think that's not something Brandon Beane has a history of doing here, right? He'll move up. He moved up for Josh. I think he moved up for Tremaine Edmonds. So he moves up a little, but multiple ones to go up. I would be. It doesn't seem like that's in his makeup, Matt. But you do look at it and go, "What are you guys doing? Your offense is the strength of this team. It's getting harder and harder this offseason to say, well, they're still the clear-cut favorite in the division. Don't worry about Miami. Don't worry about the Jets. If Rodgers is healthy, New England's doing nothing." That's why I think yes, I agree. There has to be a corresponding move, but if not, maybe that's it. Maybe he's just positioning himself to make a huge jump and get the stud receiver they believe is the best or second best, whatever, and get themselves in position to grab that guy. He comes in and by the way, receivers can make impacts as rookies. He comes in and has a 1,000+ yard season right away.
This is the last one for me. And I hate this question, so I hate the fact that I'm asking it, but I feel like, is the window closed? Is it done?
No, it's not. It isn't. The window's not closed as long as Josh Allen is here. But it's like the window we have in our bedroom at home. If you don't put the catch on a little bit, it slides just a little, and you get cold air coming in at the top. The Bills' window is not closed, Matt, but it's sliding. It slid a little bit when they cut all those guys, and this is not doing anything to make that window go up any further. I need to see what Brandon Beane does the rest of the offseason. Ask me this question again, assuming we're all doing a preseason show with you.
Yep.
Ask me the question again. But what this means today, the window slid down a little bit more.
I lied. I have one more question. How should Stefon Diggs be remembered in Buffalo?
He's one of the best receivers in franchise history. And I know his personality rubbed some people the wrong way. I get it. I try not to let that impact my thoughts. I was just looking at his numbers. Somebody tweeted out his numbers. Now, here's a guy who wasn't drafted and played his whole career here. He's 4th in Bills franchise history in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And he's been one of the most productive receivers in the league since he got here. He is one of the best receivers in the history of the Buffalo Bills, period.
Howard, did you see my unfortunate timed tweet right before the Stefon Diggs trade? Did you see this?
No.
Okay, so did you see the "you sure" that he responded that kind of sparked all of this yesterday?
I did, about Josh.
Yeah, basically like, does Josh need Stefon Diggs? And he responded, "You sure."
Sure. Yeah.
So I tweeted, I'm going to use the "you sure" meme all the time because I think it's funny. Also, I wouldn't read much into it. It's the same thing every offseason. Diggs is still the Bills' wide receiver 1, and Buffalo is still the best place for him to produce like a top-tier talent. I posted that tweet at 10:50 a.m., okay? Now let me go back and check the timestamp because I'm pretty sure Schefter broke it. So that was at 10:50 a.m. Schefter broke the news at 10:56. 6 minutes after my tweet. That is what happened. You want to talk about an all-time old takes exposed? I got burned pretty badly.
Matt_Bove. I just want to unfollow you. Just give me a second.
That is Howard Simon. He is getting ready to come back to Buffalo. We were supposed to talk about the Bills tomorrow, but Stefon Diggs kind of threw a wrench in our plans. Thank you. I very much appreciate you taking the time.
Please, no more texts from anybody from Channel 7. I cannot handle the stress.